I'm Dorothy Godin, broker 3 Max Crown in Sudbury, and welcome to Thursday Thoughts. Normally, I upload my videos on Thursday at 6 a.m., but life happens, and sometimes you have to be a little bit flexible, particularly in this line of work where you may think that you have free time, and then all of a sudden you have to go show a house, particularly in the faster markets of the under 600. If they're not holding off on offers, if something comes up, you've got to get into that house right away. So it did make me think about, the process of buying and selling and how sometimes things happen and it's not always a smooth transaction. And the kind of things I'm thinking about is, buyer does a home inspection and they find something that even the seller didn't know that was wrong with the property and it affects value. And now we're maybe renegotiating, maybe the seller has to fix something, and maybe the buyer decides that, this is not the house for us. But these things are all fixable and there is a solution to all of these issues. You might have a survey problem, you might have a permit problem, which has been a huge problem in the Sudbury area, given that title insurance has stopped giving us full coverage. We're all of a sudden finding out that, when you bought that house and you didn't do a search, now we're finding out that, there's permit issues and permits that are not closed or permits that were not taken out. You hope that the seller knows these things and we disclose that before, but sometimes they're not aware and it comes up, 2 weeks before closing. But as I say, any issues that do come up are usually very fixable as long as you have great communication with all parties and a willingness to work together to bring it to the closing table. It's very rare that something doesn't close. It does happen for sure, but it's rare. I think one of the biggest things in the fast market, which would be the under 600 market, if you are going in with no conditions, but yet you are getting a mortgage, you are putting yourself at risk because you're putting in a firm offer, and if the bank all of a sudden says, "Yeah, sorry, you don't qualify. I can't get you that mortgage," you are putting yourself as a buyer in a position to be sued, and maybe then going to a B lender to close and paying interest rates and some kind of fee. So that's the hardest one for me. And that's why when my clients say that their mortgage person wants a financing clause, we're going to put that financing clause in because it's very risky to put in no conditions. And from my point of view, like I would like to see a home inspection clause and a financing clause almost mandatory on all deals. I know that's not going to happen, but I think it's part of the due diligence that, as a buyer and as a seller, I want people to do a home inspection. I want them to come into this house with their eyes wide open. And as a buyer, I want to come in knowing what I'm getting into. But that's not the way of the world. The under 600 market is seeing multiple offers and selling over list price, and it is very brisk. And we're seeing people now not holding off on offers as much. So now we're starting to scramble. If a house comes on the market today, we need to get in today to see it in that under 600 market. But my point today was issues do come up. It can be very frustrating, certainly very stressful. But things are very solvable, and as I say, communication and a willingness to work together is the key. So I hope you find this helpful. Our job as realtors is to make sure that all the issues come to the surface and we deal with them as quickly as we can and as efficiently as we can for our clients. As always, you can reach me at Dorothy Godin at remax.net or 705 561 2360. Have a great week.